Do you remember the first time you heard the Beatles?
Absolutely. I do. I was at a family friend's dinner when I was 4 or 5. I had no concept what the Beatles is, and we went over to these family friends who were Beatle maniacs.
Right.
And they gave us Beatles trading cards and Beatles albums. It was I jumped in the deep end of Beatles culture when I was 5, and I remember thinking Hard Day's Night was the coolest song I'd heard.
Not to outdo you or anything, but I don't actually remember a time not knowing the Beatles.
Zing.
It was really a part of me growing up as a human being.
Right.
There was never my dad worshipped the Beatles, so I've always known them ever since
Right.
I've been born.
Not to outdo both of you, but
Okay,
actually
what do you
before
got?
I was born, I have a memory of before in the pre-existence.
Okay.
Where
Going to a
I-
Beatles concert.
Right.
No, actually, where I put the Beatles together, and I said, "You need to go down to Earth."
guys are gonna do
and
something
be the
special.
Beatles." So,
Well, not to outdo you, but when I was at college, I went to college to pursue jazz music. I was trying to be a jazz bassist and,
Right.
play virtuosically, realized all of a sudden that was not what I was meant to do. I didn't have the chops for it or something. So I quit all of my jazz classes, dropped everything that had to do with studying jazz, and joined the Beatles ensemble and popular songwriting, and just studied the music of the Beatles. And that was the only thing that kept me from completely abandoning music, which was the only thing that I had going on in my life.
Wow. How do you think the Beatles have influenced your music, either obviously or subtly?
I mean, the pop sensibility of any band takes note of the Beatles, in my opinion. I mean, maybe there's people who never have heard the Beatles and
They live under a rock.
They would disagree, but at least in our case, we're a rock band, but we definitely love, melodies that have that pop sensibility to it.
Not to compare our band to the Beatles, but the origins of Imagine Dragons are similar to the origins of the Beatles in the sense that the Beatles had Hamburg, where they were playing in all
Right.
the clubs, covering all the popular music at the time.
Right.
And Imagine Dragons started in the Vegas casinos, doing a lot of half covers, half originals. Well, we were learning a lot of pop music, playing Beatles tunes, And when you play someone else's, music over and over again, you absorb it. You really learn.
Yeah.
You start to learn why it was that way. So
Favorite Beatles song?
She's Leaving Home.
She's Leaving Home. Interesting.
Gosh. Something, probably.
Yeah?
Oh, and Good Morning. Good Morning's awesome.
I'm not going to be pretentious like these guys and try to go for the underground. Let It Be for me. It's a classic. It's a perfect pop song to me.
I'm gonna say
Or Hey Jude.
Yeah, Because is one of my favorite songs.
Right.
I don't know, there's all of them, just
Right.
all of them.
Taxman also. Taxman's so good.
So pretentious.
It's such a long list, isn't it?
I
that's
did a recording project recreating exactly the recording of Taxman to tape at Berkeley, recording the exact guitar solo and everything.
right.
Yeah.
And when in all that time you spent studying the Beatles, what did you decide about them?
They are
The-
modern popular music. They changed everything. Everything that came after them was different, and they made the idea of taking things from different genres and incorporating that into popular music. They were the ones that made that a thing.